या अगर हम पहले ये काउंसलिंग करते, पहले हम ऐसे मेंटल हेल्थ पे फोकस करते, तो क्या ऐसे एक इंसिडेंट को हम अवॉइड कर सकते थे?
ये कहना तो मुश्किल होगा, बट ये सॉफ्ट स्किल ट्रेनिंग जो मैंने आपको बताया है, ये काफ़ी देर से शुरू है। हम
ओके।
इसकी 4th स्टेज में जा रहे हैं। 4th ट्रेनिंग कचार में 10th ऑफ अप्रैल से शुरू हो रही है। पहले 3 बैचेस में ट्रेनिंग हो चुकी है। सो स्टेप्स तो लिए जा रहे हैं, बट ये वन डे में प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होने वाली नहीं है। इट्स बीन अ प्रॉब्लम विच इज़ बीन देयर। पॉपुलेशन एक्सपेंशन हुआ, क्राइम रेट बढ़ गया, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर प्रॉब्लम्स डिफरेंटली हो गई, इंटरस्टेट बॉर्डर इश्यूज इंक्रीज हो गए, बट द सैंक्शन स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द पुलिस which is there is last revised in 1983. उसके बाद से कोई sanctioned strength का भी revision नहीं हुआ proportionate to the increase of population,
Correct.
increase in crime. But more than the sanctioned strength, we have vacancies in that sanctioned strength as well.
On March 21, Cachar got shocked as ASI Gourbidhu Singh killed himself with his own service revolver inside Silchar Sadar Police Station. He was at his desk making entries as he would do regularly. Suddenly he paused to open the drawer, looked around to see if someone was noticing him, and within moments he removed his gun to shoot himself without hesitation. Cachar SP launched an investigation to unearth the chain of events that led to the suicide of a man on duty in uniform.
ये हमारा पापा ऐसा टाइप का नहीं है कि मतलब सुसाइड कर लेंगे घर के प्रेशर की वजह से, ये ऑफिस का ही है.
His family members, on the other hand, have put the blame on police department's workload. They demanded an investigation. Gourbidhu Singh is no more, and whatever the ongoing investigation reveals, he won't be among us ever again. But his death forces one and all to contemplate. Is it time for us to realize our mistakes and make mental health an important part of the mainstream discourse? At least we at Barak Bulletin believe so. In this episode of Straight Upfront, we have with us Dr. Ramandeep Kaur. How is she planning to motivate the police formation that saw one of their own kill himself?
सो मैडम, हमको पता है कि 21 मार्च वी सॉ द डेथ ऑफ ASI गौरबिंदु सिंह. व्हाट हैज़ बीन रिवील्ड सो फार इन द इन्वेस्टिगेशन? क्या पता चला है हमको कि
It was a very unfortunate incident which happened. So, till date, the inquiry into the process is still ongoing, but the evidence on record as of now states that it was a suicidal attempt.
Okay.
He committed suicide with his own issued service pistol.
एंड एक ऐसा इंसिडेंट हो गया था जो पुलिस स्टेशन के अंदर विच कुड हैव इजीली डिमोरलाइज्ड अदर कलीग्स ऑफ हिम. तो उसके लिए क्या स्टेप लिया गया सो दैट ये एनर्जी, नेगेटिव एनर्जी बाकी कलीग्स में रिफ्लेक्ट ना हो?
Yeah, it did have a dampening effect on the entire force. So we have a procedure. We counsel all the persons out here, and we've been imparting them soft skill training. That's an initiative of the police headquarters, and that process had been continuing. We are going for the 4th stage of the soft skill training, which also imparts counseling to the person so as to handle stress and then to get the soft skill training to deal with the day-to-day situations. So that part is being undertaken.
इमीडिएटली आफ्टर द डेथ हमने देखा देयर फैमिली मेम्बर्स दे एलेज दैट उनके ऊपर काम का बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर था एंड इट नीड्स ए डिटेल डिपार्टमेंटल इंक्वायरी, क्योंकि जैसे उनकी बेटी ने ये एलिगेशन लाया था कि हर फादर वाज एब्सोल्युटली फाइन एंड ऐसे सडनली सुसाइड क्यों करेंगे. तो और उन्होंने डायरेक्टली वर्क प्रेशर पे ब्लेम किया है. योर रिएक्शन टू दैट पर्टिकुलर एलिगेशन?
वर्क प्रेशर की जहाँ तक बात है, पुलिस all across the country is overworked, is understaffed, overworked. But that doesn't entail कि हाँ this is one way of getting up. This person, particular case which we are talking about, was a very quiet person, very reserved person. He had very few friends around, and he would talk to very few people around. Still, we would always be interacting with him, and the current OC of Silchar is a very good human being. He'd been taking extra initiative, extra step to interact with the fellow officers, as and when we've been going to the police station, we've been interacting with them to get to know what exactly are they doing and facing. I see this is not the way to deal with stress. Stress is there at all ranks, all files in the police department. There are ways and means of dealing with it, but this is not one.
Correct. Recent data जो हमने देखा है, reported data is like you have 70 armed police for a population of 1 lakh in Assam. Unarmed police is where it should be 300 actually, armed police for 1 lakh, and unarmed police is around 65 per 300. It is definite that there is pressure. So how do you handle being the head of this this formation where you have 60 odd people for a population of 1 lakh and with crime rate going up? आप कैसे इस प्रेशर को फ्यूचर हैंडल करेंगे ताकि ये ASI सिंह जैसे और केसेस ना हो?
It is definitely very, very challenging situation, and in this there has been good steps which are being initiated in the current government. Police headquarters has gone for en masse recruitment of various ranks. We have seen just now the recruitment rally which was concluded in Cachar. Similar rallies are being conducted all over the state. Another, one batch of sub-inspectors will be joining us on 6th of April. Next recruitment for sub-inspectors the exam is taking place on 24th of April. So steps are being taken place in order to reduce this imbalance so that the work pressure can be reduced. Okay. It's been a very skewed ratio, and more skewed because the state had faced insurgency and that had led to a lot of issues. And for various reasons we were not having recruitment into the police department for like so long.
Correct.
So that has really skewed the ratio, and that's probably where we are.
Your department, that is Cachar Police, is surrounded one side by Manipur border where you have certain insurgencies and issues even in recent time. On the other hand, you have Mizoram border where there is a constant problem that is being solved at various levels. Do you think if mental health, it didn't take the mainstream course of discussion as it should have, and probably that is why lives like of ASI Singh could not be saved? What I mean to ask is क्या अगर हम पहले ये काउंसलिंग करते, पहले हम ऐसे मेंटल हेल्थ पे फोकस करते, तो क्या ऐसे एक इंसिडेंट को हम अवॉइड कर सकते थे?
ये कहना तो मुश्किल होगा, बट ये सॉफ्ट स्किल ट्रेनिंग जो मैंने आपको बताया है ये काफ़ी देर से शुरू है. हम इसकी 4th स्टेज में जा रही हैं. 4th ट्रेनिंग कचार में 10th ऑफ अप्रैल से शुरू हो रही है. पहले 3 बैचेस में ट्रेनिंग हो चुकी है. सो स्टेप्स तो लिए जा रहे हैं, बट ये 1 डे में प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होने वाली नहीं है. इट्स बीन अ प्रॉब्लम विच इज़ बीन देयर. पॉपुलेशन एक्सपेंशन हुआ, क्राइम रेट बढ़ गया, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर प्रॉब्लम्स डिफरेंटली हो गई, इंटरस्टेट बॉर्डर इश्यूज इंक्रीज हो गए. बट द सैंक्शन स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द पुलिस which is there is last revised in 1983. उसके बाद से कोई sanctioned strength का भी revision नहीं हुआ proportionate to the increase of population. Correct. Increase in crime. But more than the sanctioned strength, we have vacancies in that sanctioned strength as well. Correct. So steps are being taken. It will take some time, but I hope that we'll get to where we.
ये जो मास रिक्रूटमेंट ड्राइव किया जा रहा है, हम करेंटली देख रहे हैं, डू यू थिंक द वैकेंसीज इन कचार विल गेट फिल्ड? बाय व्हाट परसेंटाइल डू यू थिंक विल गेट फिल्ड?
नहीं, these are small steps.
Okay.
These are small steps. These steps, as our current CM sir is saying, that we'll continue to have these recruitments. He says that we'll have these recruitments every year, so that every year there is a lot which is like people get retired and all. So that vacancies plus the previous vacancies will try and fill up in these, like the coming 3-4 years will fill up the vacancies of the existing sanctioned strength. Once that is done, we need to have a revised way wherein like the sanctioned strength also needs to be revised.
Correct.
So that's another step which we'll take. So maybe step by step we'll get there.
It's a long-term process, that means.
It's a long-term process. It can't be just like a short-term process that we can't have random people into the service.
Correct.
We need to get people selected through a process into the service, and then we need to train them accordingly. There's a complete change in like a person who is like a common person and a police person. So that bent of mind, that professionalism has to like inculcated into the system. Correct. So it takes some time.
Correct. और एक और चीज़ है जो जैसे ASI सिंह ने जब ज्वाइन किया होगा, उस समय की पुलिसिंग और आज की पुलिसिंग में there is a lot of difference. The crimes are more cyber attacks and cyber frauds. Even the extent of reports that we see are more inclined towards that. तो क्या एक अपस्किलिंग की भी ज़रूरत है आपको लगता है to handle the stress to the adequate level?
Yeah, that part is also there. We have like trainings of different aspects from time to time. They happen, But of course, you are right in there that when ASI Gourbidhu Singh would have joined the service around 30 years back, the skill would have been different. The requirement of the police force would have been different. So we need more people who are like better adapt to the current skills, the current requirement like cyber and other. So that that part is there. We need to take care of that, and in fact, we are taking care of that.
Also, the vacancies that you have said, I mean, is there a plan to mitigate those vacancies using machine learning and automation? Even that would need certain level of upskilling.
To that extent, it's still a long way.
Correct, correct. Madam, Gourbidhu Singh, he left behind his son, 2 sons and 1 daughter. In fact, is there any plan to and the family said he was the only breadwinner. तो कोई प्लान है जिससे हम the department might be thinking to have them on a job or probably compensate in some way?
There is a policy of providing job on compassionate ground, but it's a procedure. They'll have to apply for that, and then based on the merits, may be considered.
Correct, correct. One thing that I would like to know from you, I mean, not only on the basis of that particular case, I mean, your predecessor was shot at his leg. I mean, that would have probably have a mental impact on you. So what is the mental conditioning as a whole? Like ये जो आपने counseling की बात की है, वो क्या religiously होता है, following a routine at your level, maybe at your higher up level, because even you are under stress.
It's not about religious counseling. It's about dealing with the day-to-day things. It's about what we call moral counseling.
Correct.
It's about how to handle the stress, like
Correct.
wherein you can approach others for help. There are ways and points and times when we really need help at various levels.
Correct.
Sometimes we just need a good word to be heard from someone so that we deal with the situation. Sometimes we really need someone to pull us out of the situation. So there are that kind of a thing is there. So it's not essentially a religious kind of a counseling.
Yeah.
It's basically a moral kinds of a counseling.
By religious counseling, I meant religiously following the process. Say, for example, one counseling session every month.
That is like, it's a dynamic thing.
Correct. Okay.
It's a dynamic thing. So it's like there are times when the stress level is more. There are times when things are better, going smoothly.
Okay. Another allegation that ASI Singh's family raised was of that his leave was disapproved. He had applied for certain leaves on medical ground. Apparently, जो खारिज कर दिए गए थे, considering the ongoing workload. Any proper human resource,
See, again, when we talk of vacancies, we are all short on manpower.
Correct.
So leave has to be given in a rational way. We
Correct.
can't be just leave, and leave is not a matter of right as per the existing government policies. So
Correct.
leave was sanctioned. It could have been slightly curtailed, but that was to compensate to the others.
Correct.
It was never, because it's a short workforce. We are like short of people, so it has to be rationalized amongst us.
Correct. Any, at the end of the day, is the public image of Cachar Police. Do you think that got impacted by the death of ASI Singh? Because Cachar Police recently, has been in the news for good reasons. You have nabbed culprits across various scams. Even in border protection, your Cachar Police's role was appreciated to the extent that there was no retaliation even at point blank range. तो क्या इस डेथ ने थोड़ा काछार पुलिस का जो पब्लिक इमेज है उस पे इम्पैक्ट डाला है?
I won't say that, but of course it's a reflection that we are overworked and understaffed. But of course this is one incident which could have been avoided had he approached people at the right level.
Correct. Last question, madam. आपका tomorrow somebody else in your department or maybe कोई अलग department में, करीमगंज में या हुजाई में, कोई और district में ऐसे feel करते हैं because they have the gun in front of them, right? With them always. उनको ये feeling आती है to kill themselves. What would be your suggestion be to them? उस moment पे उस emotion को कैसे handle करें?
I think life is stressful. Be it inside police service or outside police service,
Correct.
life in its own is stressful. So there are various ways and means of dealing with it. I'm sure everyone has their own ways and means of dealing with it. Family is the most important thing, wherein one can always resort and go back to, for counseling, for support. I'm sure that each one of us should look into that and should find our own solace and deal with the stresses, be it the stress of general life, be it the stress of police life. And taking life is not something which is like a way out.
Thank you very much, madam,
as a challenge.
for your suggestion and your time. It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you.